Let us put ourselves in Anjali. Let us pay homage to the Buddha. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Please put your palms together to partake in the offerings to the Buddha. The offering of the 5 items allows us to express our gratitude to the Buddha and serves as a symbol to help us remember the teachings. Please join wholeheartedly and read the verses together. Offering of light. Light symbolizes wisdom. May the light of Dhamma dispel the darkness of ignorance. Offering of incense. Incense symbolizes the fragrance of pure moral conduct. This reminds us to cultivate good conduct. Offering of water. Water symbolizes purity, clarity, and calmness. It reminds us to practice the Buddha's teachings to cleanse one's mind, which is full of desires, ill will, and delusion, to attain the state of purity. Offering of fruits. Fruits symbolize the ultimate fruit of enlightenment, which is our goal. They also remind us that all actions will have their effects. Offering of flowers. Flowers symbolize impermanence. The freshness, fragrance, and beauty of flowers are impermanent. This reminds us that we should all live in the present. Remembering thus, we should reduce our craving and attachment. Let us now pay respects to the Triple Gem. Araham Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhaṃ Bhagavantaṃ Abhivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammang Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami. We chant the verses for taking the 3 refuges. Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dhammang saranang gacchāmi, Sanghang saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchāmi, Dutiyampi Sanghang saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Buddhaṃ saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Dhammang saranang gacchāmi, Tatiyampi Sanghang Saranang Gacchami. Let us now chant these verses to observe the 5 precepts. Panatipata Viramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Adinadana Viramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Kamesu Michachara Viramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Mutsavada Viramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Surameraya Japamadatana Viramani Sikapadang Samadhiyami. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Buddha. Iti piso bhagava arahang samma sambuddho vijacharana sampanno sugato lokavidu anuttaro purisa dhammasarati satta deva manusanam Buddho Bhagavati. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Dhamma. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Sanditiko Akaliko Ehipassiko Opanyayiko Pachatang Veditavu Vinuhiti. Let us recollect the sublime qualities of the Sangha. Supatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ujupatipanno Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Nyaya Patipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Samichi Patipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Yatidang Chattari Purisa Yugani Atta Purisa Pugala Esa Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Ahuneyo Pahuneyo Dakineyo Anjali Karaniyo Anuttarang Punyaketang Lokasati. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Okay, very good morning again, brothers and sisters. Welcome to those who just walked in. Do settle down. I will start with announcements first before I hand the mic over. So first up, Dhamma Home. Of course, we're still calling for the donations to help build our Dhamma Home. As mentioned in previous announcements, do visit the website indicated on the slide itself. You will note that it's not just something that you click with an amount, but you can choose to say buy a towel or donate a library, things like that. So there's a lot of effort put into building this website. So do take some time to explore what we have put together there. Next up, we have a talk on masculinity and violent extremism. That's a very interesting topic by Dr. Nur Huda Ismail. So this talk will be in person on site. However, we will only upload the recordings later on Facebooks and stuff like that at a later timing, which we will announce during the talk. If you want to join us on site, do register because space is limited. And then there's the ever-popular Ajahn Brahm. We have the year-end retreat. This is held during the Christmas period, which will help most of us who are working. There are options of whether you want to stay in, stay out, or there is also a Zoom that is actually free of charge. Of course, we definitely welcome donations, be it for the monastery or to BF later. So if you're interested, do register for any of the options there. If you're doing a stay-in or a stay-out option, it will be at Hotel Grand Central. Okay, so do note that just to highlight that the early bird price, the promotion ends on 31st October there. So do join us if you are keen and have the time. So another retreat, this one is a bit special. It's a new initiative this year actually. Ajahn Brahm usually have the meditation retreat only at Jhana Grove. And this one this year is 12 November to 21st November. However, they are doing a hybrid session this year, which means if you are keen, and we know we're all stuck in Singapore, isn't it? You can sign up for an online Zoom version. For details of payment, registration, do visit the Eventbrite website and with the QR code right there on the slide itself as well. So both the retreats are organized by different people, and this one is by Bodhiana Singapore. Now, next one is DFC, Dhamma Foundation course. It's already running, started in 4th September. We do still have online space for you to join us if you want to. The last session is 18 December. However, the classes that you've missed so far, you'll be provided recordings, though unfortunately we do not have recordings for the tutorial. So if you're interested, do join us, and this will be the first step before the DFC 2 and 3 will also be open for registration pretty soon. So again, if you're keen to pick up from where you've left off, do join us and register at Eventbrite as stated on the website, on the link itself. BF Junior Youth, we have this is the program for October itself. If you're interested, do contact the office or Shi Yuan for registration or any details on these programs that we have here. Now, next one is a very interesting initiative by BF as well. We have started this thing that's called the Share Your Favorite Sutta. And although it's said here that, we have a suggested donation, and if you donate a certain sum, you can suggest that we read your favorite sutta. However, it's not a strict rule, right? So if you do have a sutta that you really, really like and want it to be shared with more people via this means, you can also contact us via email or the office and let us know. But of course, donations are definitely very welcome. Without much ado, we are going to pass the mic over to Dr. Ng today for his talk. Before I hand over to him, I'll just do a short biodata of Dr. Ng, who will then lead us through meditation and then proceed with the talk for today. So Dr. Ng Wai Chong is a medical doctor with a local non-profit organization that is involved in aged care and aging issues. He was the immediate past president of Chakawala Meditation Center. He studies the Dhamma and meditation under Sayale Dipankara, a disciple of the Venerable Pa'auk Sayadaw. In the past few years, he has been invited to deliver lectures at many Buddhist organizations. So without much ado, I will hand the mic over to Dr. Ng. Thank you, Doctor.
We'll do a meditation first. So recently I've been doing quite a bit of guided meditation with some tertiary student groups and Buddhist youth groups. Apparently, I think we all know there are a lot of people feeling a lot of stress lately. So we will focus on mindfulness on the body. And then after that, we will do mindfulness of the breath. Mindfulness of the body just to relax ourselves, breath, and then we send loving kindness. Okay? So many of you here have practiced before. So if you like to follow the guided description, you can do that. Otherwise, you can practice on your own. So for those perhaps online who are new to the practice, it's good to be upright, the poor posture. Then in terms of the way you sit, it doesn't matter so much, just that it has to be something stable. So like me now, the cushion is not so high relative to the placement of my leg, so I sit half lotus. If the cushion is very high, I'll sit like this. So each of us will find our own position. And those who practice yoga a lot, your ligaments are very primed and lax. So you can do a full lotus, very stable, and you don't need a cushion if you do that. Okay, so upright posture, the hands, we're going to sit for about 15 minutes only, so it doesn't matter. You can place on your legs or just hold together. Okay, so before the practice, it's good to have a kind of a mental preparation. So as we close our eyes, we make a determination for the next 15 minutes or so. Maybe just put aside the things related to the past and the future that has been like occupying our mind space. Put them aside. If necessary, we can attend to them later. And let us commit this 15 minutes to self-care, to the practice of the Dhamma, so that we can be a good disciple of the Buddha. And may the mind be balanced. May the hindrances be suppressed, at least for a while. And may we respectfully pay attention on the objects of the mind for meditation. Allowing the mind to stay mindful continuously without any gaps as much as possible. And let us begin by putting the mind on the bodies. Starting from the top of the head, we can feel the scalp muscles, the tone, a little gripping. And let us perceive the flowing of the muscles. Perceive the lax tone of the muscles, as if the muscles are flowing like melted snow down to the forehead. Feel the muscles on the forehead releasing its tension between the eyebrows, such that the muscles rest and drape themselves around the skull, at the temples and at the back of the head. Feel the muscles flowing down the face, around the eyes, allowing all the muscles to relax, recoiling to the most natural state, as if all the muscles are melting away around the jaw, at the neck. Feeling the neck bones just settle into its most comfortable, slightly curved position. Even as the muscle flow down the shoulders, down our arms at both sides of the body. Feel the arms weighed down by its own natural weight towards the gravity, all the way to the elbows and the muscles on our forearms, relaxing to our wrists, our palms and the hands, all the muscles as if they're dropping off the bones, just very rested. And we pay attention to our chest, the muscles on our chest and at our back, allowing the muscles to relax and flow down our chest, releasing the freedom of our breathing, feeling the muscles flowing down our abdomen and the small of our backs, all except the muscles required to keep the body upright. The rest can stand down. And the organs in the abdomen, we can imagine like pillows stacked one on top of the other, rested, gravitated to the base of our abdomen, inside. And the muscles around our pelvic girdle, our thighs, our knees, the calves, the feet are all soft, gentle, supple, flowing, melting. And the whole body as if plastered onto the cushion, onto the floor. And similarly for our minds, feel the mind at our hearts, in our chest, slightly towards the left, the position of our hearts. The mind also like water in a pool, in a deep forest. When all the winds have stopped, the waves and the ripples subside, and the mind becomes mirror-like, reflective without judging, without controlling, without participating, just merely observing all phenomena, material or mental, like a still forest pool, reflecting the clouds, the birds, the sky, the sun, the moon and the stars, observing and learning without controlling, participating. Such is the mind of a meditator, mindful and clearly comprehending. With the body soft and the mind still, let us bring our attention to our breath. The breath in front of the nostrils, above the upper lip, on its way in or on its way out of the body through the nostrils, keenly observing like a most respectful of student, observing a master. For our breath is like our living master. Observing the breath in front of the nostrils without following the breath into the body or out into space, like a gatekeeper, observing respectfully, mindfully, tenderly, with loving kindness. accepting the breath as it is, for it is part of nature. And let the mind enjoy the simplicity of the breath, like a tired and thirsty traveler enjoying a glass of pure water, as the mind relish the beauty of the breath. Intimately, neither too tense nor too lax. When the mind wanders, where's the mind? And the mind comes back to be with the great Master, our breath, again and again, closer and closer, gently, energetically, keenly, and clearly. Knowing the breath throughout its course, from the beginning to the middle and to the end of each in-breath and each out-breath, and retaining a hint of curiosity. Is this a long breath or a short breath? Allowing the mind to investigate and to become even more mindful. When the mindfulness increases, the samadhi increases. When the samadhi increases, the breath becomes more subtle, becomes more difficult to discern, and it invites even deeper mindfulness and deeper samadhi. Allowing the mind to get really close with the breath, almost integrated, the mind and the breath. When the tension is high, release it. When the mind wanders, just ask, where's the mind? And come back to the breath. And gradually and gently, let us broaden the scope of our mind as we switch the object from our breath to an image of ourselves. So as we broaden the mind, we can perceive a person, ourselves, seated on the floor or on a chair. Perhaps the vision of ourselves is as if our eyes are behind us or above us, or as if the eyes are in front of us, looking at ourselves. And feel from the center of our heart the warmth of love embracing ourselves onto the image of ourselves. May I be safe and free from danger. As we say this silently, we mean every word and feel the whole body cleansed by love, the unconditional loving kindness as taught by the Buddha, like a mother for her only child. And accept every bit of the love with every cell and every pore. as if it is our birthright. May I be free from mental suffering and physical suffering. And may I be well and happy. Feel the whole body cleansed, as if receiving a shower of cool water on a very hot day. And allow the loving kindness to overflow beyond ourselves as it pervades the whole hall, the shrine hall, as if in a dark room someone switched on the light. Even with the eyes closed, we can see people in this hall. May all my friends seated here in this hall be free from danger and be safe. Meaning every word, feeling the tenderness of loving kindness, keeping the vision of our friends stable when the mind is balanced. May all my friends be free from mental and physical suffering. And may all my friends in this hall be well and happy. And allow the mind to penetrate the wall of this place, beyond, throughout the neighborhood of this community, Telok Blangah area. And we can see people in their kitchen, in their homes, in the HDB flats, in the buses, on the streets, in the marketplace. May all people in this neighborhood be free from danger and be safe. Be free from mental and physical suffering. And may all of us be well and happy. And shine the light of loving kindness even wider across the whole of Singapore, as if our mind has risen to the sky like a drone or like the moon, shining down on all people in Singapore, regardless of race, language or religion, rich or poor, young or old, men or women. May all people in Singapore be free from danger and be safe. May all people in Singapore be free from mental and physical suffering. And may all of us be well and happy. And let the mind travel across the oceans, the hills, the mountains, the forests, the cities, the villages throughout Southeast Asia, throughout Asia, and throughout the whole world, as if we are like the sun or the moon, shining down on all beings equally, unconditionally, powerfully, regardless of race, language, religion, nationalities, and so on. May all beings be free from danger, be free from mental suffering, and be well and happy. And allow the mind to expand and embrace the whole universe across space. May all beings be well and happy. And gently, let us bring the mind back to our bodies. Feel the body relax, settled, and the mind peaceful, equanimous. And at our own time, we may open our eyes. So I hope you're all keeping well and mindful of whatever is occupying your mind, and hope you are healthy in body and spirit, and good wishes for your family too. Thanks to some of you who come here to keep me company, and also grateful for those who are participating in this meritorious activity online. Okay. So I'm honored to be here to share the Buddha's Dhamma. So inspired by my teachers, those that I know and those that do not know me. So I'm going to talk about Parami mainly. Yeah. So many of us have been Buddhists for many years. We have practiced meditation, and some of us, and we have learned the scriptures. We have learned from many teachers. So I wonder whether have we asked such questions. I'm going to give a series of questions. Okay. So when you read the suttas, you can remember the first sutta taught by the Buddha to the 5 bhikkhus was the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta. Immediately after that, Venerable Kondyana realized the first fruit of enlightenment, the Sotapaddi path and fruit. And at the same time, many devas and brahmas became fully enlightened. But the other 4 bhikkhus, despite the Buddha being in front of them, speaking the most profound and the most efficacious, the Dhammacakkappavattana Sutta, where he talked about the middle path, the 4 noble truths and the eightfold path. Well, only one of them became a stream enterer. And subsequently in Sarnath, he went on to give another talk, and that was the Anattalakkana Sutta, the sutta on non-self. And subsequently, all 5 of them became arahants. And then the third sutta he taught was to the Kassapa brothers. These are a group of fire worshippers, and the Buddha realized that they were near to enlightenment, so went to them, but they were very proud, and so the Buddha felt to really engage them, he needed to stay in a cave where they lived. But the cave was well known to there was a Naga that inhabited that cave. And Buddha survived the night, and the Kassapa brothers were impressed. And with that connection, the Buddha gave the sermon, sometimes known as the fire sermon, I can't remember what's the Pali term for it, where he spoke that the I object is on fire, I is on fire, I consciousness is on fire, the ear is on fire, sound is on fire, the ear consciousness is on fire. Smell object, a smell is on fire, nose is on fire, the nose consciousness is on fire, and same for the taste, tongue, and tongue consciousness, tactile sensation, the body, and the body consciousness, mind object, the mind consciousness. So these are the mind door and the mind consciousness. So these are the 18, subsequently known as the 18 dhatus. They are all on fire. And these Kassapa brothers were fire worshippers. I don't know their practice. I suppose fire worshippers, they probably have a lot of reverence to fire. Maybe they practice fire kasina. And you practice fire kasina, and if you practice for a long time, it's quite easy to attain the 8 samapatis, So they probably have samadhi as a foundation. And the Buddha gave the sermon, and they all became arahants. So, why are there people, after listening to the Buddha for just one short talk, and then became arahant, or sotapatti, and yet for many of us, again and again we heard so many, we can even give Dhamma talks, we've even studied, and some of us may have got PhD, and yet we are not yet, enlightened. So why? Yeah, so, and many of us, we have supported many teachers, monks, nuns, done a lot of dana, and we go for retreat. Yeah, how come we are still continuing our deluded lives? Hearing so much Dhamma, encountering so many good teachers. And also some of us, we see our friends, they practice, immediately they can, maybe experience concentration, samadhi, and then the penetration of the Dhamma is praised by the teacher. Oh, good, okay. Then how come some of us, we try and try, still cannot have progress, even after spending so many years, going for retreat or full time as a yogi in a forest retreat or a monk or a nun, so long already, still haven't got progress, still haven't tasted how Nibbana is like. And why are there among us, there are people who are born happy or born virtuous. Their character seems to be very upright, is it their upbringing? But then all children of the same parents, how come some are so virtuous, some are not so? What's the cause for this? And also, why are there people who, when they first heard of the Buddha's teachings, they immediately feel that, hey, this is the right teaching, I like to be a Buddhist. And why are there people who are obviously very intelligent and very compassionate, but they just somehow don't find Buddha's teachings useful for them? Yeah. So in the Buddha's teachings, we know that the Buddha taught about cause and condition. All phenomenon have causes and conditions. Many causes resulting in many results. Many results can potentiate as causes and conditions for other results. Okay? Then of course the most famous one is the 12 links of dependent origination, using the same principle of cause and effect, but explaining existence. Okay? But cause and effect is the gist of the Buddha's teaching. So surely all phenomenon have reasons and conditions for them to arise, if you ask the correct question, right? So are these correct questions? So in the understanding of dependent origination, in the Abhidhamma, the 7th book is a very chim one. Okay, it's the most difficult one. So even when I first heard it from Sayadaw U Silananda, I really couldn't quite understand. But later, I realized that it's really important. Okay, there are 24 conditions explaining how a conditioning factor result in a conditioned phenomenon. This mechanism is any one of the 24 of these conditions. So because Abhidhamma is really quite difficult to learn, you need a teacher. So in this particular case, one of the ancient commentator, I think his name was Venerable Dhammapala, I think, and I don't know when was this written. He summarized the Abhidhamma into this Abhidhammata Sangaha, and then in these 24 conditionalities, he singled out 4 of them as quintessentially summarizing all of them, which is here on this on your screen, those in bold. Number 2, object condition. And number 9, decisive support condition. And number 13, kamma. And number 21, presence. So all of them can be categorized and related and summarized into these 4. So, but I won't be explaining them. I don't think I have the capacity to do that. But I have some idea of these conditions, and it's very importantly related to our practice. So I'd like to share with you today. So among the object conditionality is really when you see this object, a certain phenomenon happens. For example, I see this person, I immediately unhappy, even though have a good mood. So object, contact, eye consciousness, mind or consciousness, and then there's a certain, because of the object, the aversion happen. Aversion happen, surely unpleasant feeling will happen. So that is object conditionality. Presence is when this happen, okay, when this arise, that arise. So when there is a mind, there'll be mind states. When there is the eye, there is eye consciousness. When there is eye object, there is eye, there is contact. So this arise, that arise. So that is just presence. So these two, let's put aside, object and presence are very simple conditions because there is this arise, this arise. But the other two, the decisive support and the karma, is quite interesting. Let me attempt to explain. Karma. Okay, what is karma? The Buddha explained Cetana is karma, the volition in our mind, the intention in the mind. Every time we pay respect to the Buddha, our whole body moves, right? And our speech also, we say Namo Tassa, for example. And what drives this body and the speech is actually the mind. And if you will be able to observe the mind, you find that this mind state is different from a mind state when you are, say, scolding someone, or different from a mind state when you are, say, watching TV is different. So this mind state, and this mind state, if you imagine this mind as if it is a soup, you taste it. You can taste maybe certain herbs. Maybe there's cardamom, there is cumin, there is ikan bilis as the umami base. Oh, okay. So you can taste that. So similarly, when you observe the mind, you can taste that this mind has got this, and that. And one of these ingredients is volition. Volition is like the active component of the mind that want to achieve a certain intent, want to intend for a certain object. And this is karma. Okay? This intention causes the rest of the mind for generosity, for faith, for wisdom, to take its effect onto that mind state. Okay, so that is karma. This is one understanding of the condition called karma. The other one is the one that is very important for our destiny, and that is the karma, the volition from sometime in the past, okay, whether wholesome or unwholesome, resulting in a resulting mind state. Either when you're reborn at rebirth, so it determines your rebirth, your realm. Are you reborn as a human or a deva or an animal? So it's determined by the karma of the past that ripens just before, at the point of death, and then resulting in the rebirth. This is one way karma take effect. Another way is throughout your life. When you see an object, hear an object, there is a consciousness that arises, eye consciousness, ear consciousness. All these are due to past karma. So how does it work? You can only say this is karma condition. Okay? The Buddha can say, okay, this, like when he had the back pain, he can say that this was because long time ago, he was a wrestler. He actually hurt somebody's back. So that was a karma that resulted in the Buddha at his life as a Buddha having a back pain. Okay? So that was the cause of that. So this is karma condition. So the yellow one is the one that's important for our destiny. The white color one, volition, this is the karma in action. Okay? Karma causing the whole mind either to have greed or to have aversion or have non-greed, non-aversion, and all the wholesome mind. So the volition, together with all its concomitants, determine this is a wholesome mind, unwholesome mind. I mean, I'm sure you all know that the whole path of the practice is related to cultivating wholesome minds. Decisive support is very interesting. Okay, Upanisaya Pachayo. It is the condition that explain why after meditation your mind is receptive to the Dhamma. Explains why you take the 8 precepts and then during your retreat you find that meditation is easier. Or you keep noble silence, your mind is very quiet, and you find that your mindfulness is stronger. Or that in the morning you have deep concentration, afternoon the concentration is easier. Also explain why some of us like to lie. Then this create a condition for future lying. Or some of us have a habit of telling the truth. And then in the future, when something really happens, we find it very difficult to lie. Okay, so this is decisive support. Upanisaya Pachayo. There are many, it has got a wide relation. The explanation in that Abhitamata Sangaha is all past mental and physical phenomena strongly efficacious for experience in the future. Example, our past behaviors, our habits, our habitual mind states, our inspiration or aspiration. The conditioning is not the same as the karma, This action result in this experience. But it's actually these activities create a habit to prime this mind stream to continue the habit. Okay, this decisive support have got many other dimensions. The last paragraph, just to make it complete, but I think I don't want to go there because this is really quite difficult to explain. But just to share when we practice meditation, a lot of time you do have questions and understanding, and then you find that this decisive support really is very important. The way you lead your life, the way you habituate the mind is very important for the support of the practice. Okay, so all this Abhidhamma aside, let's go on to the subject matter proper. So this is a very famous rendition of the definition of right effort. So it's everywhere. It's not just in Vibhanga Sutta as I quoted here. Whenever the Buddha explained the Eightfold Path, right effort, he will explain right effort as for the unarisen, evil, unwholesome action, he makes an effort to keep them at bay, not to arise. And for those unwholesome states that have already arisen, he makes an effort to remove them. And for the unarisen wholesome state, he generates desire to arise them, and he put an effort to cultivate them. And for those that are already there, he put an effort to maintain them. So the right effort is really about wholesome action. You need to give it more energy to cultivate, to maintain. Unwholesome actions of body, speech and mind, you give it energy to prevent it from arising. If it's there, you put effort to remove them from your mind state. So this is actually the whole of the practice. Right effort is central to the whole of the Noble Eightfold Path. So what are wholesome states to be developed? So when you think of wholesome states, of course we think of 5 precepts, generosity, we think of samadhi. But in other areas of explanation, I'm using Bhikkhu Bodhi's explanation. When he explained that particular phrase, he refers wholesome action to the 7 factors of enlightenment. But in a talk that he gave in Bodhi Monastery, when he explained wholesome action, he used 3 categories. Okay? And these are all from the Pali Canon. The first one is punya, which is your meritorious actions. Okay? The second one are the parami, or perfections. And the third one are known as the bodhipakkhya Dhamma, or requisites of enlightenment. I shall explain briefly all of them. Punya, meritorious action. Buddhists, we offer, to the Buddha, to the Dhamma, to the Sangha. We, like now is Katina, we give offering robes and meals to the Sangha. These are all meritorious deeds. Okay? And there are many meritorious deeds. Sometimes you can see the 10 rendition, the 10, the opposite of the 10 unwholesome karma. It's non-killing, non-stealing, no sexual misconduct, no lying, no harsh speech, divisive speech, and frivolous talks. And then 3 of the mind: covetousness, and aversion, and wrong view. So these are the 10 unwholesome action, and there's a 10 wholesome action that's opposite to it. Then there's also other rendition, like paying respect to the monks and the Buddha. The reverence is wholesome karma. Dana, service, listening to the Buddha, listening to Dhamma, straightening our views, sharing the Dhamma. These are all wholesome karma. But all these wholesome karma can be boiled down to 3. And this is your generosity, virtue, and meditation. Dana, Sila, and Bhavana. So these are the foundational meritorious actions. And they are based on the law of karma. When you do these meritorious actions, the mind have a pure volition. And this will ripen in the future. Either if it ripens at the point when you pass away, it will give rise to a good rebirth according to your desire, either conscious or unconscious. Okay? Some of us, maybe we've always wanted to be reborn in the heavenly realm. It's not uncommon. A lot of people want to go to heaven. And this karma, these merits could support them to go to heaven. And some of us, we don't care heaven or what. We just want to be with our loved ones. So maybe because of that, we ripen to a place where maybe we are still in human realms, and we meet the old friends that we've always... old friends actually could be our family. Our family now could be our old friends from the past. So all the karma ripens according to our wishes. So based on this meritorious action, or sometime in the future life, like now we have relatively comfort, like it's cooling, Of course there is a pandemic outside, but now if you ask immediately, it's comfortable. I am healthy, In fact, I put on weight, unhealthy, and meeting friendly faces, So all these are good karma ripening, right? So it's due to meritorious deed in the past, governed by the law of karma. Bodhipakya Dhamma, each one you can give a course, the 4 foundations of mindfulness, 4 bases of success, the 4 right effort, the 5 faculties, 5 powers, 7 factors of enlightenment, and the Noble Eightfold Path. 4 plus 4 plus 4 plus 5 plus 5 plus 7 plus 8 is 37. And this is found repeatedly in Samyutta, in Anguttara Nikaya. This is a basis of practice for the Buddha's disciples who want to be enlightened. You practice, you have to fulfill all of them. Ultimately, the 8 path factors mature and you realize Nibbana. So, but all these are part of our practice. And these should be developed for enlightenment to happen. But where does Parami stand? Okay, Parami is like sculpting. Okay, it's like you have a marble and then you're sculpting bit by bit. Okay, until this sculpture one day become an enlightened one. This is an analogy given by Bhikkhu Bodhi. I think it's very apt. It is really related to building a one's character. Okay, and in the Pali tradition, it is not just for somebody who wants to be a Buddha, practicing the Bodhisattva path. It's for anyone who wants to be enlightened, to be an Arahant. You need to build your character so that it is worthy of enlightenment. Okay? So in the traditional Pali teaching, there's 3 extents to Parami. So if you, in order to perfect this character dimension, you sacrifice material possessions, that is first level. If you sacrifice an bodily organ, that's the second level. If you sacrifice your life, like the Bodhisattva, our Gautama Buddha, before he was enlightened, he was a Bodhisattva, he gave his life to feed a hungry tiger, I think. Okay, there are many Jataka stories, and I think there are some Mahayana versions and Theravada versions. So there's one that he sacrificed his life, and so that, and also the last perfection is the story of Vasantara Bodhisattva, where he sacrificed his children and wife to be slaves to somebody. Okay, I mean, let's switch off our critical thinking for a while. Just be artistic and idealistic for a while. Okay, so imagine the thing he has to go through in order to sacrifice, to perfect, so that he can be a perfectly enlightened Buddha out of compassion. So that is the example of how someone who wants to be a Sambuddha need to sacrifice. But for the rest of us who aspire for, say, an Arahat path, you still need to practice a Parami, but need not to that extent. Okay? It is akin to building one's character so that gradually our soul is sculpted life after life after life, so that when we hear the Dhamma, we can be so full of joy as if we have found it again, that this is something I need, or that it is so natural for us to be open-handed and generous, or it is so natural for a young child not to kill, or it's very natural for somebody to let go. Okay? So why are there people like that? Because of the phenomenon of natural decisive support and character building over life after life after life. Okay? And so when we practice the Dhamma in a monastery, there'll be some people progressing very fast, and the teacher will say, this person has good parami. Okay? Or some people very slow, then the teacher will say, he doesn't emphasize that you don't have good parami because you never know, because nobody can tell your past. Maybe what you need is the right teacher, or the right teaching, or the right meditation object. Maybe breath is not for you. Maybe for a long time, like one of the Sariputta's disciples, he was a goldsmith. So Sariputta teach him asubha, dead bodies. Oh, he is not happy. And keep practicing cannot. Until the Buddha saw him and then gave him, materialize a very beautiful golden flower and use that as an object for this person, and then this monk, this disciple, immediately progress very fast. So these are all paramis. Where did this come from? It's from the Buddha Vangsa. Buddha Vangsa is from the Pali Canon. So the story was, the Bodhisattva was an ascetic named Sumedha many aeons ago, before he was a Bodhisattva. And he has perfected the four jhanas and the eight samapatti. That means the four material jhana and the four arupa jhanas. And maybe perhaps in those days, long time ago, there are many people who can do that. So he was somebody like that, and he heard that a Buddha is coming to the city, and this Buddha's name was Buddha Dipankara. And Sumedha was very inspired, wanting to meet the Buddha. And he went to the city and saw everybody it was after rain, so the grounds were very muddy, a lot of furrows and potholes, and they were trying to use sand to fill it so that the Buddha can have a comfortable walk into the city gate. And so Sumedha also wanting to contribute, so he was building the road. But before he could complete it, Buddha Dipankara arrived together with his disciples. And Sumedha was so filled with awe. Imagine if we can meet the Buddha, how much joy we can have, right? And so at that time, he couldn't help himself but to just prostrate down onto the ground and spread his body out with the intention of, please may the Buddha walk on me, so that his feet need not be muddy. So he was looking at the Buddha, and then he was so filled with faith, right? He spread down and then just lie on the ground, and then he made a wish. May I not hear the Dhamma to become an Arahant. I would like to be a Buddha like him. So he wanted to be a Buddha like Dipankara. And the Buddha Dipankara immediately know his mind. And then he reflect, will this person become a Buddha? He wants to be a Buddha. And he realized many incalculable aeons later, he'll be reborn in this place as Gotama and then became a Buddha. And then he sort of confirmed it that he will. And so he did not walk on him, he just walked aside and then said that he will be a Buddha in the future. And Sumedha was very pleased, and he reflected, okay, now I would like to be a Buddha. What does it take for me to become a Buddha? And in his mind, automatically, the 10 qualities occurred. He had to practice the 10 Pāramī. This story was told to Sariputta by the Buddha himself when all of them went to visit his old hometown, Kapilavatthu. So Sariputta asked the Buddha about his past, and Buddha explained this story to him. So the perfection of the 10 Pāramīs came from here. So the qualities to become a Samma Sambuddha such as giving, what is the definition? So the definition is given by the same commentator from ancient times, Dhammapala. So he was saying that it is accompanied by compassion. So all of these 10 paramis, I'm going to give the list in the next slide, giving, virtue, and so on. They must be accompanied by compassion. That means you give because you cannot bear the helplessness of beings. Okay, that's compassion. Skillful means, what skillful means? Skillful means it's actually a manifestation of wisdom, which is, you know this is good merits, but you want to direct it to the most perfect of all vision and mission, objective, and that is Nibbana. So there is compassion and wisdom when you practice this Parami. So it is out of compassion and out of wanting to realize perfection. Okay? And untainted by craving, conceit, and views. So it is not out of attachment to anything, it's not out of vanity, and it's not out of wrong theories. Okay? So there's no conjectures, there's no speculation, it's just a mind which is totally pure, compassion, wisdom, selfless, and open-minded. Okay? And then we practice the Parami. There are 3 developments which I've already explained just now. So these are the 10. Generosity, virtue, renunciation, wisdom, energy, patience, truthfulness, determination, loving kindness, and equanimity. So let me just explain all 10 of them, and after that I will give you why I'm talking this today. The 10 Parami. The practice of generosity is giving of material things, but also giving of fearlessness and giving of the Dhamma from the Brahmajala Sutta. Okay, so we can consider what's giving of material things. Food, money, clothes, fearlessness. Give people faith, confidence. You are all right. You'll be fine. I'll be here to protect you. I am not here to harm you. Okay? Give people inspiration. Giving of the Dhamma. Sharing the true Dhamma. But of course, all of us are learners. We can only reference here and there. And this is what Bhikkhu Bodhi said. This is what Anguttara Nikaya was written. This was from a commentator. This was from a Visuddhimagga. This was from Ajahn so and so. We will take reference here and there. And sometimes we'll share what we learn, but we just be very transparent about it. This is my theory, okay? So this is sharing of the Dhamma. Okay? What is the practice of virtue and morality? So this is really about practicing, refraining from unwholesome actions that can harm others. And in a rendition by Bhikkhu Bodhi, when he was explaining Buddhist ethics, he used the phenomenon called harmony, which I felt very good. Because, as a doctor, and I'm sure as a mother, as a father, as a teacher, you will encounter day-to-day situations where you need to make tough decisions. So what guide the decision? It is morality and ethical principles. So this is a compilation by Bhikkhu Bodhi on what constitutes ethics in Buddhist terms. So the first one is social harmony. Yeah, I have this privilege of meeting Bhikkhu Bodhi and taking care of him when he was here many years ago. And I asked him a question: where is Buddhist ethics based on? And then him, very typically, he will just think and he say, Sangyutta Nikaya, the people of the bamboo gate. He's like a walking encyclopedia. So, and the principle was, whatever you do not wish to be done upon you, you don't do upon others. It is the reverse golden rule. You know the golden rule? What you want to be done upon yourself, you do upon others. But the Buddhist ethics is not like that exactly. The Buddhist ethic is what you do not want to be done upon you, you don't do upon others. It's closer to Confucius, 己所不欲，勿施于人. Okay? That's social harmony. But there's also psychological harmony, and that is wholesome and unwholesome mind. If you have unwholesome mind, your conscience will hound you one day. I mean, unwholesome mind is so common, but if it translates into speech and bodily action and result in something, it can haunt you. Yeah. So that's psychological harmony. Existential harmony is related to dependent origination. Good karma, good existence. Bad karma, bad existence. Okay? And harmony in the practice leading to enlightenment, that is good karma, but founded upon right view of Four Noble Truths. So this good karma will lead you to enlightenment. So this is harmony towards in relation to the practice. So if you want to consider ethics, so you can consider social. Okay, in a secular country, of course, it's social harmony. Okay, not everybody is Buddhist, right? But understanding people's mind, we also want to emphasize psychological harmony. Don't do wrong things; it will haunt you. Okay. Then existential harmony depends whether you believe in future lives, and harmony leading to the practice depends whether you have faith in the Triple Gem. Okay. The third one is renunciation, is letting go. Okay. Letting go, of course, you can visualize somebody, going forth to the homeless life, 出家, become a monk or a nun. But it doesn't. That's only symbolic. What is important is the internal journey of letting go. So there are 3 stages. This one I heard from, I think, Pa'au Siador. So letting go of sensual pleasures, that's when you moderate in eating, have a simple life, simplify your existence, middle way, not hedonistic, but also not austere, keeping the precepts. That is the first level of letting go. Okay? Letting go of sensual pleasures. Okay? The second level of letting go is letting go of the unwholesome mind states. That is a process of samatha. When we practice concentration, mindful on the breath or the body or the kasina or loving kindness, when the mind becomes more and more mindful, become more and more still, all the hindrances are suppressed. Aversion, sensual attachment, restlessness, sloth and torpor, and doubt, all these are suppressed. So this is the second level of renunciation, letting go of unwholesome mind state. But when the mind is not in meditation, they can all arise. You can still have greed, hatred, and all that. So the final letting go is when you realize Nibbana. For the first time, you will cut away 3 defilements. Okay? Attachment to self-view, doubt of the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, and wrong belief in false practices, right? Then if you realize it a second time, second fruit, the attachment to sensual pleasures and aversion is weakened. You realize it a third time, these 2 are also cut. But you still have attachment to existence, conceit, you can still have restlessness, you have ignorance, and you have got... can't remember the 10 defilements. So this last one is only eradicated when you realize the Arahat path and fruit. Wisdom. Of course, ultimate wisdom is the realization of the Four Noble Truths, right? But day-to-day practice, you can take a note from the teaching related to sampajanya, right? Mindfulness and clear comprehension. What is clear comprehension? Clear comprehension is clarity of purpose. So whatever we do, we exercise critical thinking. What is the objective of me doing this? Clarity of result. Me doing this, does it cause harm to myself and others? Clarity of object. Whatever you do, what is this thing that I'm doing? And clarity of intrinsic nature of phenomenon, which is whatever we do, we always know that ultimately it is impermanent, suffering, and non-self. Okay? So this, we can practice it every day, And this is the faculty of wisdom, the Parami of wisdom. Energy, it is relentless effort and indefatigability, like an elephant. Okay? When it wants to go from one place to another, it just walks, slow but sure. And it's not the same as a dog, running around full of energy, and then it's not sustained, easily distracted. So the practice of energy is, underpins the rest of the paramis. We need to put in effort to cultivate all this wholesome mind state. The practice of patience. Patience is acceptance, okay, to endure the desirable and the undesirable. Particularly, Bhikkhu Bodhi use examples of difficult people and difficult situations. Okay, we take them on, without batting an eyelid. Okay, that's patience. To endure the desirable and undesirable. Manifestation is tolerance and non-opposition. And the proximate cause is seeing things as they are. This characteristic function, manifestation, and proximate cause is a formula in the Abhidhamma and commentary text. It's the way ancient commentators describe abstract mental factors such as patience. Okay? Truthfulness. What is truthfulness? It's really honesty. Okay? When we practice truthfulness, we can practice it in the way we speak. Right? If it's true, is it true? If it's not true, don't say. But if it is true, do we say? We have to see, is it beneficial? We have to use wisdom. If it's not beneficial, also don't say, even if it's true. But if it is beneficial, you have to ask, is it the right time? If it's not the right time, don't say. If it's the right time, then you can say. Okay, so this is from the Abhaya Raja Kumara Sutta. Okay. So you can imagine nowadays, social media, it's very easy to share or to spread or to say something. The impact is huge. So be very careful what you type. The practice of determination. Determination is crucial. Okay? In the whole practice, we are all driven by determination. I shall sit for an hour without moving. Then shall sit 1 hour. Even 30 minutes you already need to move, but you just determine until the whole body is all full of perspiration and the knees are very painful, but you sit for a whole hour without moving for its own sake. Oh, that is sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Because that is a practice of determination. Same. I shall say somebody who is maybe you want to quit alcohol. Okay, I will not touch alcohol from now on until I die. Okay, then the determination is very strong, and you don't touch alcohol. This will become a parami. So in the future, when you say you want to do something, it will happen. So in our practice also, there's a certain point when in our practice that we need to practice mastery of the mind. You want to sit for 1 hour and 15 minutes without using the clock. You just sit, then after 1 hour and 15 minutes, you automatically wake up. So that is the power of determination. It works if you are consistent, always keeping your own promise. But of course, sometimes we a bit chin-cai. When you're chin-cai, your energy will be lost also. So you need to be strict here. There is a balance between, what is the term for it? Brute effort and there's a balance between brute effort and complete going with the flow. If you continue to go with the flow, your bad habit will also come. That's going with the flow. If you brute effort, you break. That's why the middle way is important. So it is through determination. If you feel it's quite difficult for you to sit for 4 hours, then don't make that promise yet. Maybe sit for 1 hour. But you find that, but don't say I only sit for 5 minutes. It's not challenging enough. Longer, okay? 15 minutes or 30 minutes. So ultimately, we make a determination, I shall sit for 4 hours. Okay, then you sit for 4 hours. If you gradually train yourself like this, the determination will come true. Loving kindness, it's unconditional love and compassion. Okay? All beings are equal. So the analogy given in the commentary text is 5 monks in a cave. And then the bandit came, want to kill one of them. Somehow, I don't know what's the story, but and ask, who shall I kill? So some of us will imagine nobody will want to, would say that you kill him, then I can be spared. That is a selfish person. Or somebody will say that you kill me, then the rest can be spared. But the 5 monks could not name anyone. Okay? All of them, the love for oneself and others are equal. Okay? So that is the standard of loving kindness. Loving ourselves and loving others are equal, and they are unconditional. So that is the practice of loving kindness. The last one is equanimity. Equanimity is being unbiased, impartial, neither attached or repulsed. And also, there's another understanding of equanimity. It is in the 4 Brahma Vihara. It is based on wisdom that all beings are owners of their own karma, heirs to their own karma. Karma is their origins, karma is their relations, karma is their protection. So when we want to help others, but yet somehow we fail, if you don't have equanimity, you may feel disappointed with yourself or feel frustrated. But equanimity allows us to know that you can do your best, but all beings are owners of their own karma. Or sometimes we do something and it's successful. The tendency is for us to celebrate and be very pleased with ourselves. That's when we don't have equanimity. But with equanimity, we know that, all beings are owners of their own karma. This person, I did something, he helped, and that is thanks to good karma. Okay, this is my last slide. Second last. So direct merits towards purification, because merits are wholesome mind, wholesome Dhamma. If you practice merits, but yet you aim for Nibbana, that's skillful means. Okay? And your merits becomes Parami. Okay? How? Because what is Parami? Parami is all this giving, all the wholesome deeds, virtues, patience, loving kindness, truthfulness. All these are meritorious deeds. And if we direct it towards character building so that we can become fully enlightened, okay? And out of compassion, no vanity, no attachment to result, and no wrong views, okay? And these merits will become a cause and condition for us to become fully enlightened one day. And one of these days, we may find ourselves, a teacher tell us something, okay, just mindful on the breath and stay there for an hour. Mindful on the breath, and immediately, attain jhana easily. Okay? When we attain jhana, then the teacher talk about, say, dependent origination. Then we listen, the mind very pure, and we listen, we immediately know that this is the truth, and we actually start to see the mechanism, and we realize impermanent suffering non-self, and then we realize Nibbana. So that's how many of the Buddha's disciples, when they listen to a Dhamma, they just close their eyes, it is very bright, and the Buddha talk, they are meditating at the same time, they become fully enlightened. Otherwise, they don't practice, how can they be enlightened? They have the Pāramī. Meditation doesn't need 1 hour, right? If the mind is prime and the teacher is there and the Dhamma is just right for you, you close your eyes, you can see light, right? Yeah. So our wholesome habits become our character. Our character shape our experience and decisions, and our decisions and perceptions shape our destiny. So this is how the merits gradually, if you aim towards Nibbana, it will lead you to Nibbana, and it change our destiny, change our experience, and change our decisions. So merits bring good fortune, Parami brings suitable conditions that lead to Nibbana. And as Buddhists, because of our Parami, we trust the Buddha's teachings, even though we may not have personally seen the heavens and hells and so on, right? But it is the Buddha's teachings that this human realm and animal realm are those that are obvious to you. There are many other realms, and there are past lives before this. And if you're not enlightened, there'll be future life after this. And so we have to see the whole life as only one existence out of many. And every death is actually a rebirth. Every birth will end up as a death, which will end up as a rebirth. So we have to see everything across time and space. And that's when we see throughout time and space, I must have done so much. And why am I like this? Why do I have this personality, this character? Why do I like the Buddha's teachings? Why do I like to meditate? Why do I like to keep precept? Why do I like to do dana? There are causes and conditions for a long time. Okay? And for some people, they prefer to be a lay person. Some people prefer to be a bhikkhu. Some people prefer to get married. Some people prefer not. So we can see all these are conditioned by character buildings over many, many lives. Okay, this is my last slide. Actually, my real intention of this talk is I mean, some of my friends, they feel a bit schizophrenic. On the one hand, they want to be enlightened. On the other hand, they are very attached to their occupation, their work as a nurse, as a doctor. And then they like to do a lot of dana and so on. And some of them, they are working and then they feel they should go and practice. When they're practicing, they feel like going to work, be schizophrenic. And also in taking care of seniors, one of the most important things to give seniors well-being is occupation. In Tom Kitwood's theory, he's regarded as the father of person-centered care for dementia. He said every person has 5 universal emotional needs. The need to be loved, the need to be included, the need to have attachment, the need for dignity, and the need for occupation. What is occupation? Occupation, in common language, is our work. In Chinese, called ye. And in Pali, when we call the meditation object, we call it kamattana, ye chu. If the mind is occupied with an wholesome object, the mind becomes mindful and all the wholesome quality will grow. The mind cannot have no object. Okay? The mind always has an object. Okay? Sometimes it's not obvious. If the object causes wholesome mind, then this object is an important object that we need to continue to have. So, some of us are retired. I'm sure you know. Nothing to do is suffering. Nothing to occupy your time. Always surfing the social media, YouTube, whatnots. There'll be a lot of restless mind. Restless mind is unwholesome mind, even though the karma is very weak. But unwholesome mind is a upanisaya pachayo for more unwholesome mind. It's a decisive support for craving and aversion. You need to anchor the mind with something, and that is something to occupy your mind, and that is occupational therapy. Okay, so we need to occupy the mind. So some of you here are avid volunteer for seniors. with or without dementia, with or without cancer. So we always have to have something to engage them. Coloring, sewing, maybe namaste therapy, we massage the hand, give them the aroma, so that a person lying in bed can still have something to occupy their mind, and we process it for them. And the mind can become engaged and have some semblance of mindfulness. Okay? So occupation and work. Work, what is work in modern day terms, is really creating value, meeting unmet needs. Sometimes in exchange of tangible, like money. What money means is really our resources to continue this existence, right? So that we can continue to do whatever we find meaningful. So that is that. But sometimes it's not in exchange of tangible. It could be like a mother caring for her children, or a housewife caring for the whole family, or a volunteer just spending so much effort to do work without anything tangible that come into their pocket. So this is work. And livelihood is one of the Eightfold Paths, right? We need to respect our work, our occupation. But then how? Schizophrenic, I want to practice and yet I want to work. Your work can be transformed into the perfection of paramis. Give you an example. Say you're a caregiver. You quit your work so that you take care of your mother. To a lot of people, think that you're just caring for your mother, right? But to a caregiver, you sacrifice so much. You could be working. You could be making a few $1,000s a month. But no, you sacrifice that and you stay at home and take care of your mother. That is generosity, Parami. Compassion, skillful means non-attachment, no wrong views, not conceited, not because I want to be praised. Okay? So that is generosity. And when you take care of your mother, sometimes you want to slap her because she's screaming and shouting all the time. But you cannot. That is Parami of virtue, Parami of patience, right? And because you take care of your mother, you cannot go out with your friends, you don't have social life like people working. That is renunciation. You give your mother sensual pleasures, but also give, you let go of sensual pleasures, but you also give fearlessness, okay? And you let go of sensual pleasures, okay? And your mind continue to take care of your mom, okay? So that is renunciation. Wisdom, where does it come from? As you take care of your mother, sometimes you ask the question, why? Then you realize that without your mom, you won't be here. You were disabled when you were born, and then you grew up into a baby, you don't know the world, and somebody orientate you. Your mom was your first teacher, okay? And then you realize, I need to do this. Okay, so this is wisdom, the clarity of purpose. Clarity of result is, if my mom is like this now, should I, for example, should I insert nasogastric tube or should I not? No, it's very hurtful. Or if I don't, am I starving her? So there is this reflection of what is the right thing to do, the clarity of result. And clarity of subject matter. If say you're caregiving to a disabled person, you need to learn how to do nursing care, how to change the diapers, how to make sure the skin are clean, no rashes, how to make sure there's no constipation. Constipation causes so much issues. How that a person shouldn't be lying in bed all the time, you need to put up onto the chair. So the technical knowledge is the other wisdom, the clarity of the subject matter. That ultimately you know, okay, even if you give the best care of your mom will still have pneumonia, urine infection, can still pass away. You need to reflect that anicca, dukkha, anatta. I mean, such is life. Okay, you are born, you're young, and then you go in middle age, you grow old and become helpless. And then you do your best to support your mom, but she can still have complications and can still pass away. So this is the wisdom of anicca, dukkha, anatta. So this is the parami of wisdom. Then the wisdom is the fourth, fifth is patience, then effort. Effort, you want to take care of a mom, you put in a lot of effort, including the effort to keep yourself wholesome. Sometimes you want to scream, okay? Sometimes you're so angry, so jealous, so frustrated, but then you try to keep your mind wholesome. Always think about gratitude. Always think about, this is a good way to lead my life, So it's putting effort to keep the mind wholesome, keep the mind happy. This is Parami of effort. Truthfulness. Okay, your mom has cancer. Do I have cancer? You cannot lie. Okay? You can keep quiet. But if you want to say, is it true? Not true, don't say. You don't have cancer, that's not true, you cannot say. Right? Is it true? Is it beneficial? Then you need wisdom to assess. Should I say the truth? Will my mom be able to take it? Do you know your mom? Do you think your mom can take it? Do you think if you are your mom, would she like to know? So you have to reflect this. Okay? So is it beneficial? And then is it the right time? Then you see, is it the right time? Well, she, me, we have got certain relationship, she won't trust me. I'm not the one to say. Let us see the doctor. I will ask the doctor to tell her. Okay, so the practice of truthfulness is like that, and this is also a parami. So as you practice this, your character start to form. You can imagine you're like a marble, slowly chipping away. You start to see an enlightening being. Okay, and that's truthfulness. Determination. There are times you want to send her to the nursing home, okay, but you remember your mom is very scared of nursing homes. Or long ago she said, will you send me to nursing home? Then you told her, Mom, don't worry, I'll take care of you. Then you remember that and you stay true to your commitment. Of course, it'll be really, really tough. For some people who no choice but to send them to the nursing home, I would say, I understand, okay? But some people want to practice determination to keep your mom at home. Loving kindness, of course, always sending loving kindness and no anger. And then finally, equanimity. Whatever you do, things can still happen. You're equanimous about it. So as you practice caregiving, you practice all the parami. But not just caregiving. Say if you're a Dharma worker in BF, you don't have to tell me, I know you have suffered a lot. Patience, truthfulness, dana, virtue, so many things. All of us, I've been in volunteer work for long, also Chakavala and others. Sometimes you really feel like, you all do, I don't want to do already, But it is a practice of parami. It is very meaningful if you direct it towards nibbana. Otherwise, you never get challenged. You only want to go to the forest. There are a lot of people who are in retreat, they think it's so ideal. They practice, no progress. We don't know, right? We don't know people's past. But character building is very important for Buddhists. And not just Dharma worker. If you're a teacher, if you're a mother, if you're a businessman, there's so many times you can practice the parami. So this is the reason I'm sharing this, that may all of us sort of be contented in our place, and take any opportunity and convert it into a Dharma practice. Be it a meritorious deed, and we know meritorious deed is so that you can have good experience in the future. Ultimately, not the best motive of things. The best motive is whatever good conditions is in order to support the practice for Nibbana. That is the best wish. So with that, I've ended my talk. So dedicated to all who cares for other people, may their merits be a cause and condition for the ultimate destruction of the taints and the realization of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu,
sadhu. Thank you, Doctor. Do we have any questions from people on site? We are running a bit over time. Is it okay if we take a few questions?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so maybe let's limit 5 minutes, right? Yeah.
Oh, sorry, okay, sorry, there was clarity. Okay. Hi, sorry, I just want to ask, like, there was clarity of result and then there was clarity of what? Sorry, I missed that.
Purpose, result, subject matter, and ultimate reality. Actually, I'm paraphrasing. The purpose of result is really the clarity of purpose is knowing the objective of whatever you're doing. Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. So if there's no further questions, I guess let's say 3 sadhus for the good talk. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. And then let's go into our closing puja. In Anjali, let us invite all sentient beings to participate in our acquired merits. Ita vata cha amhehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe deva anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Ita vata cha amhehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe buddha anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Ita vata cha amhehi sampadam punya sampadam sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampati siddhya. Let us dedicate the merits of participating in a wholesome Dhamma activity to our departed relatives and friends. Idam me nyatinam hontu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatinam hontu sukhita hontu nyatayo. Idam me nyatinam hontu sukhita hontu nyatayo. End of service dedication. I dedicate the merits which I have accumulated to the cultivation of my mind in order to bring happiness and benefits to all sentient beings. I dedicate the merits to my parents, children, spouse, relatives, friends, colleagues, and my adversaries, wishing them long life, good health, happiness, and prosperity. May we never part from the Triple Gem, and may we always walk the path towards enlightenment. Let us pay respects to the Triple Gem. Arahang Samma Sambuddho Bhagava Buddhang Bhagavantang Avivademi. Swakato Bhagavata Dhammo Dhammam Namasami. Supatipano Bhagavato Sāvaka Sangho Sangham Namami. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Thank you, brothers and sisters, for joining us today, and thank you for the great talk. Well, have a good Sunday, and we'll see you in the next week. Thank you.